to our Senate President, Senator Akpabio. We are giving him ultimatum of 2 days, that is 48 hours, to reverse the suspension of Senator Natasha and stop the harassment from northern senators. Or else, we'll occupy the street. It's our duty. The last protest, you will see what we did. It's in our vein for us to occupy the street. We'll occupy the whole street of northern Nigeria. We'll also occupy the National Assembly. We'll occupy the Senate. And demand for the resignation of Senator Akpabio. Furthermore, we will block Lokoja Lagos roads in a way that there will be no supply of food from the north to the south, and there will be no supply of other goods from south to the north. Please, our great president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we are calling his attention for him to interfere and for him to stop people like Akpabio from all this busybody by spoiling his administration, and said enough is enough. If you could remember, I think before the Senator Natasha and Akpabio Sega, it was Abdul Lingi versus Akpabio. Then later on, Senator Ali Ndumi versus Akpabio. Now it is Senator Natasha versus Akpabio. The question I want to ask here, why is it that it's always a northern senators, people who has voted in that position? Then in addition to what my friend said here, that why is it that we, the northern youth, said Akpabio is anti-north? My friend, please, you should make your research and give us a single development from the northern Nigerian ever since Akpabio resumed as Senate President. The northern Nigerian has not single support from Akpabio. And we are calling for Mr. President, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as a father from the north, because he's our father from the north. We, the northern Nigerian, voted him, and we support him, and we will keep on supporting him as our president. It's our constitutional right to defend our president. So we are calling the attention of Mr. President for him to please call the attention of Senator Akpabio, the Senate President. Let me tell you what you don't know. Akpabio stopped the project of NLNG gas pipeline project that will link from Kogi State to Kaduna to Kanu, in fact, to other African countries, Morocco.
That ordinarily she needs to be informed if the seat is changed, not at the floor where she's making her positions. It is from that incident that led to the case of suspension today. But before then, the Honorable Senator has said, distinguished colleagues, she has a petition. If there was a case of suspension that has to do with misconduct, that ordinarily has to be treated before even submitting a petition. She submitted a petition, and there was a case of she cannot sign the petition. It is in the case of this front and back that a staggering kind of suspension came. And we are all aware in this country that this is not the first case of sexual harassment made by the Senate President. The Senate President ordinarily should not be in the seat of Senate President. Why? We are all aware that this Senate President has questionable character before even the AFCC. We are all surprised to see him as Senate President. And this is not the first time we are having a case of sexual harassment. So if we are peddling the case of sexual harassment with gross misconduct of Senator Natasha, I think we also need to understand that something led to something before the case of suspension.
Hello, citizens of Nigeria. My name is Just Adeton. So I've received countless calls, chats, and whatever, and everybody has been saying, Just Adeton, what's your take on Natasha Akpoti and the Senate President? First of all, I don't have a single take on this matter. Rather, I have a stand. A stand for the fact that we are women. A stand for the fact that we must come out publicly to defend ourselves. A stand that as women, as young girls, we must stay firm to protecting our gender. My stand is very straight and simple. That together we bear one name, regardless of our status, regardless of our pedigree, regardless of our position. A woman is a woman, and a mother is a mother. Now, Natasha Akpoti's case affects every single woman out there. And my stand is, no matter what, Natasha was rude. Natasha shouldn't have used this as a baiting. She tried to use the suspense as an instrument to fight. She didn't speak when she needed to speak, and all of that could be right or wrong. But our stand still remains. We will not allow anyone, no matter how big you think you are, to reduce our strength and our commitments as women and mothers in the society. Whether they have a personal vendetta is not the issue. This is not about Natasha. This is about Natasha's gender. And she is a woman like me. There's something that I preach every time. And it's the spirit of togetherness. When something affects one woman, when something affects one child, when something affects one female, it affects every one of us. If then they call woman Olosho, or then they call us Ashawo, they don't get particular woman who then they call Ashawo. If they want abuse, say you be Ashawo, they go call you, say you be Ashawo. And as a fellow woman, when you see somebody calling a fellow woman an Ashawo like you, shame they read for our face. If people in high positions will suspend a female on the grounds that she has accused the Senate President of sexual harassment, what you're trying to do is you're trying to drain the battery and the energy of every woman out there to learn to keep quiet in the face of adversary, to learn to keep quiet because of the shame. We would have preferred if the Senate President steps aside as a man who claims that he has four females and who has shamelessly turned the House into a kiss-a-thon and a love-a-thon competition, because the Uduagas come to kiss affectionately in public. Suddenly, the wife of the Senate President has started to render a kiss to show compassion and support to her beloved husband. I don't think you can be a judge in your own case. And the Senate has proven to us that it seems like there's a cult and a cabal going on. It would have been better if Natasha was properly investigated and Natasha was found lying, and then Natasha is punished. Then that would be a shame on womanhood, that you want to use your gender to intimidate or subdue or oppress a fellow man. The narrative in the public space is that Natasha was suspended. I've seen a lot of our adults, women, coming on the media space. If you all claim that you've passed through that institution and you have passed that stage of harassment, what I would have expected of our female adults is to summon Natasha, scold Natasha, explain to her, make her understand that that is an institution of authority, and she's not only representing Kogi, she's representing we women in power, because we're supposed to be more and there are just 4 of them. So Natasha is like a standalone now who has to fight the feminine battle. No, she's not standing alone in this. We are waving our support for a female who has claimed that she was harassed, and we would appreciate if they push further to investigate and come out and tell us that she was guilty, she was telling a lie, rather than trying to intimidate her. Whether both of you have personal issues is none of our interest. According to the Senate President, and Natasha has traveled about 3 times on official assignment afterwards. The timing Natasha said what she said might not be right. The way Natasha said what she said might not be right. The platform Natasha said what she said might not be right. But Natasha is a female, and no woman will come out that she has been clearly harassed, and we will keep quiet. Don't forget, in the same country where we are, our minors are being assaulted on a daily basis. Our women are murdered on a daily basis. And a lot of them cannot come out to talk because of the fear of oppression and intimidation. So if a high-positioned woman comes out to say that she was harassed, and you are trying to subdue and silence her voice, then what is the fate of our young girls? You will not call us weak in the face of our troubles. You cannot shame we women, because we already know that we have problems and challenges we're facing because we're females. On that note, we're trying to appeal to the Senate to take a different direction, a turnaround concerning the case of Natasha Akpoti. If not, you might be calling for the war of females. You might be calling for a stand-up of we women, because one woman is all women, and one female is our gender. And we owe an allegiance to stand up anytime, any day, regardless of how big or how small you are. Nobody, no woman deserves to be silenced, and no woman deserves to be intimidated. Thank you all. And we will definitely come out on our next move on this issue. Thank you, fellow Nigerians. Thank you all the women who have come out to support. And to those of you women who have not understood that this is not an individual battle, or a battle against an individual or a person. This is a battle for, against, and in support of we women being oppressed in the face of adversity.
Now, when support Senator Natasha, those in support of suspension, those in support of Senate President Akpabio, make una come. I have little information for you. You know, one of the reasons why this country, Nigeria, no fit move forward, it is because we as Nigerians, there is no limit to waiting we fit tolerate as bad leadership. There is no nonsense we cannot not take from our leaders. Nigerians will be like understanding girlfriend. No matter what thing they do to us, we go understand and we go dey patient. And you know one thing about Nigerian leaders, they go continue to detest your ability to take bad leadership and nonsense. And the more you show them say you are ready to understand without pushing back, the more the situation go get worse. So if you've been thinking say 9th Senate they bad, the 10th one go show you say there's something called worse. If you've been thinking say Buhari bad, the person will go come after Buhari, go tell you say no worry, now maybe they turn fura for Buhari. I go show you, I go deal with you now. If this video too long, I go cut and post part 2 and 3 because I've already posted part 1. You can go and listen to it. And pardon me if I speak too fast. You see this issue in the National Assembly between Senator Natasha and Senator Akpabio. I don't tell when I say you must look at the bigger picture. That problem is a symptom of a bigger problem. Nigeria, we are in serious trouble. So for those of the way they talk say Senator Natasha was with Senator for where Senator Natasha will be okay. She's an elite. She even fought to win her election to come to that Senate. The problem when Natasha they talk so it concern me and you average Nigerian pass Senator Natasha, but you do not know a situation where National Assembly was supposed to carry out oversight. Checks and balance over other arms of government have been completely hijacked when there is no meaningful opposition. The senator from Abuja, Senator Ereti, she said that the Senate is not opposition friendly. You know the meaning of that? That is why Nigeria can never move forward. Normally, we they hear now say Nigeria, see the people they post picture, we stand with Senator Natasha. No, Nigeria, we must leave social media talk about problem and put up a physical presence to exercise our fundamental democratic rights to peaceful assembly in that National Assembly, to demand for better governance and for the right thing to be done. Senate said they don't go on break, say they go resume on Monday, be Tuesday. On a normal day, to say Nigerians, we love ourselves. As they resume for that place, Akpabio and other senators supposed to meet all of us at the gates of the National Assembly. Yes, because that National Assembly is not Akpabio's house. It's not any senator's house. It is the people's parliament where we send leaders for our own good. And we must be able to hold them accountable without fear. Akpabio is not God now. No, he's not. Senator Akpabio is like other senators that were voted in. They only choose him to be their Senate president. So for those of you now, when they talk, say Senator Natasha is rude, there is procedure, there is standing order, listen to me very attentively. On that particular day when Senator Natasha, they shout order 10, order 10, order 11, which is her own order as a her privilege as a senator. The Senate President Akpabio been they talk, his mic was on. Go and watch the video. If they tell them already, say prepare her for suspension, let the sergeant at arms take her out. So even before they send her to go committee on ethics, the Senate President don't already put her for suspension. So less than 24 hours later, the committee only came back to talk what the Senate President has already said. So the Senate President is the constituted authority, and that is the kind of injustice where you support because you are from a party or you are from a state. You should be ashamed of yourself for your ignorance. According to other options where they the list where they bring out from the committee, her security should be taken from her. The allowances to her aid should be stopped. Former Senate President Ahmed Lawan, he get up, he talks, say her security should not be withdrawn from her. The Senate President Akpabio say if somebody stopped to be a senator, the security should also be taken. So a suspended senator is no longer a senator for this Nigeria, and that is the injustice you are supporting. That injustice is big enough to go round. It go touch you. Now say you no. And then, if you want to talk about you, the those of the way they tell there are procedures in the National Assembly. She was rude. She has 6 children. No worry. Now ourselves with the setup. Let me remind you of when Senate been don't get orders for themselves. 2020, when the court been sentenced one senator with the former governor to prison for 12 years for stealing money from his own state. According to them, the 6 months where he say he do for prison before he goes to Supreme Court, where overturn the ruling. Did they withdraw the allowances of the senator? Was his seat declared vacant? What was the standing order to take care of that one? Oh, so Senate standing order don't know how to take care of the criminals amongst them. It only knows how to victimize opposition and women who they think that are defenseless. You should be ashamed of yourself and disappointed in yourself for your ignorance and supporting injustice. 2018, a senator from Delta Central, he made comment for National Assembly, they suspend him, he goes Supreme Court overturn him, they suspend him for 90 days. Supreme Court said the suspension is illegal. When he go back, according to the senators and police will later carry him, elite thugs enter National Assembly, go hijack mace, the symbol of authority. Now the next day they go pick him for Abuja City Gate. What was the punishment? Well, if you don't know the punishment, by 2019 they vote him in as deputy Senate president. That is standing order. People will get standing at the sleeping order. Every year for 2 years now, when President Tinubu go National Assembly to submit budget, Senate chairman who is Akpabio, they go lead other lawmakers to they sing on their mandate they stand. Is the Senate, is the National Assembly, the APC secretariat, are all Nigerians in the same party. So which day Akpabio will suspend himself? My dear Nigerians, if you do not get up and go for us to come together and fight, my own concern is as we talk about Natasha, we must be talking about electoral reform to overhaul and sanitize the criminal INEC, because if not for the criminal INEC and corrupt judiciary, most of the lawmakers and the senators where they Abuja, they will not be there in the first place. So now this Lagos idea, the day when we're ready to mobilize, say we want to go and demand electoral reform and for the right thing to be done, the transport will carry me, we're ready to borrow them, because we must overhaul that entire system. So my dear people, as we talk, so me as I did so, nobody the one way they go come, they tell say, hey, be careful, Peter. My name is Peter for Nigeria, Peter the Rock. Nobody fits to me. The almighty hand of God is upon me. To ask for good governance is not a crime. This Nigeria I live here, I know here. I'm not better than people where they prison, people where don't die. I'm not better than anybody. I have a God-given mandate to stand up for the truth and what I believe is right, and we must do that. That mandate, God willing, it must be established. The protest will be led by known faces, not the unknown faces where police carry them, nothing go do. Until we get that courage to come out in our number and go and demand for what is right. Let me tell you, the pain is only getting started. The problem just the begin. The situation will get worse and worse, and there is no end in sight. So we are our only help, no rescue, they come from anywhere. Let us rescue ourselves from the hands of our oppressors.
Welcome back to Local Journal, my people. This Senator Natasha and Senator Akpabio matter, it don't they turn into something else where we no understand again. Now, even as Natasha don't go UN, go report this matter for there. The northern Nigerian people and the Nigerian women don't come out, they blast Senator Akpabio, and then they want Senator Akpabio, where be the Senate president, make it cancel that suspension on Senator Natasha and make it call them back within 48 hours. And on top of that, even the Nigerian women, they see them as an affront on the Nigerian women, because them talk say the victimization and the harassment where women they undergo for inside this country is becoming unbearable. And then talk say they no feel wash make all these things they continue like that. And then talk say they go do everything where they possible within the ambit of their own power to correct these anomalies. Then talk say women for inside Nigeria say na human being 9MB, say no be pushover 9MB. Say regardless of anything whether they talk against Senator Natasha, say their stand be say make them give women fair hearing for inside Nigeria. And then they also talk say the same energy when they use they condemn Senator Natasha, may they apply the same energy to the Senate President Akpabio, where we say they accused of sexual harassment. Then talk say the Senate President no fit be the judge inside his own matter, say na him be the accused person, and if the accused can't be the judge of his own case, say no way where we say justice go prevail. And this one I make them they call on every well-meaning Nigerians when they speak out against the injustice where they go on in this country against women. Based on this whole matter where they go on like this, I know say plenty Nigerians go talk say no be based on the sexual harassment allegation against Akpabio and they suspend Senator Natasha, say na because of the Senate standing rules and order where she flout and disobey. Now the reason why they suspend her for 6 months be that. But for me, I feel say that suspension they too much for that kind of matter, because when they try deprive her and her constituency of their right for good 6 months, and this one it no make sense at all. However, I still maintain that if not true say she break the law and na 6 months na supposed to be a suspension based on the change of seat matter where happened for inside plenary that day, then make the law take in course. But me, I still believe say they supposed use wisdom so that they go temper justice with mercy. At least they supposed reduce and calm down. That 6 months where the Senate they suspend her because of that trivial issue go make her look as if the Senate get personal vendetta against Senator Natasha. So for me, that suspension it did too much. And talking about Senator Natasha allegation against Senator Akpabio, for civilized country and where things they work properly, the Senate president is supposed to step aside so that an independent body go come investigate the whole matter so that they go feel know the truth. This one where we say the Senate president now be the judge of his own matter, how the case won't take fly, I be how won't take know the truth. The truth don't go fit come out. So like we know, Senator Natasha don't carry this matter go UN, and she unveiled so many things about this matter. So I go play the video of waiting Senator Natasha talk for inside UN and waiting other Nigerians they talk about this matter. But before we watch the video, if today na be the first time when they visit our channel, I beg make you like, make you share, make you subscribe.
I come with a heavy heart from Nigeria, but first I'd like to apologize to Honorable Kafila Obara. I am not here to bring shame to our country. I'm here to seek help for the women of Nigeria. Again, my name is Senator Natasha Akpabio. 5 days ago, on the 6th of March 2025, I was suspended. As a senator, I was suspended illegally because I submitted a petition of sexual harassment against the President of the Nigerian Senate, Senator Akpabio. I thought that by submitting the petition, he would recuse himself, and both of us will submit ourselves to the Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petition for a fair and transparent investigation. But unfortunately, I was silenced and I was suspended. I was suspended for 6 months, amongst many other stringent conditions, such as taking away my security, taking away all the officials, vehicles, and other items that were handed over to me as a senator. My salaries will be cut off. I must not appear anywhere near the National Assembly. And for 6 months, I'm not to introduce myself or present myself as a senator locally in Nigeria or internationally. That means I'm here illegally, but I had no other place to go but to come here and speak to you women, because this is a bigger picture. a bigger picture. It depicts the crisis of women political representation. My suspension is not just about me. It's about the systemic exclusion of women from political leadership in Nigeria. Women make up 3.6% of political offices, and in the Senate, it's just 2.8. We have 109 men, and only 4 of us are women. So right now, it's 108 with only 3 women. This is a clear case of political victimization, punishment for speaking out against impunity, corruption, and gender-based violence. The United Nations Declaration 48/104 declares sexual harassment as a form of gender violence. The Senate's actions are an assault on democracy. I was elected by my constituents to represent them, yet a few powerful men have unilaterally decided to silence their voices by suspending me for 6 months. My call for an open and transparent investigation into harassment allegations have been met with hostility instead of accountability. If a female senator can be treated this way in the full view of the world, imagine what ordinary Nigerian women would go through every day in workplaces.
I mean, should we just forget it because we don't want it to continue to wash their dirty linen? Because this is about morality.
Yes, let me address the first one you mentioned.
Okay.
I said earlier that the seat of the number 3 of this country is not a seat to be make jest of. And therefore the personality that holds that position should be a personality that has a courage and character and charisma and behavior that should be above board. And that is why I said the antecedent of the Senate President, of the way and manner he speaks, which has been becoming a norm since he was in the office, not just in the case of this sexual harassment without reducing it, but to say there's a trail. You know, when I opened my, I said there's a trail, paper trail of antecedents on the part of the Senate President and on the part of the
lack of decorum.
Lack of decorum. And lack of sensitivity and understanding the situation, even of the people in the country sometimes. But like, it's not even about the Senate President alone. Don't forget the Senate President is first among equals. Any senator in that chamber can become Senate President. You are just first among equals. So it presupposes that anybody that has to become a senator or House of Rep or even local government chairman, there should be minimum standard of values. But do we have those values? We don't have them. We have seen cases in the National Assembly, whether in the Green Chamber or the Red Chamber, that are supposed to see light of the day, issues of even oversight of institutions where they throw it under the carpet. So we wouldn't want that to happen. It is already out in the open. Both parties have decided to take action, which is good for us. You know, the only problem now is there is a matter and there's a cross matter, and at the end of the day, they may all neutralizing themselves. My issue here is that it has made a spectacle of the chamber. It has reduced the respect of the institution and the personalities concerned because they have antecedents. These 2 particular personalities that are the dramatis personae in this matter have had track records of this that has ended, you know, hanging somewhere. Of course, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't address it, because a serial offender always has a day of his fall. So if this is the time, if that is true, for those that are harassing people sexually to answer, you know, to the law, it will happen, because Senator Natasha is not one to keep quiet. But the issue is, you know the story of somebody that is crying wolf. We've had this with Dino Male, we have this with Reno Omukri, we have this with our former husband. This may be true, but that is the problem with, you know, this decorum issue you talk about. And I said something earlier also. If you know this person has a kind of tendency that is not good, as a woman, why don't you hold yourself and keep your distance? And the husband also to stop her from doing so. Now, how did it degenerate to this? Whether she allowed it or her husband allowed it, if the Senate President is not refusing to do so. Who went to whose house? Who followed who to where? Who was escorting with his hand behind his back while they are holding his wife's hands? So for me, it is a core societal value issue that we need to look beyond the Senate President or the Senate itself. Because this is happening in offices, this is happening, you know, in places, even at homes, you know, as a core value issue. And I kept on saying, leaders are a mirror of their society. And we as a people should continue speaking about sexual harassment, about violence against women or indeed against anybody. But how victims also take up an issue, especially those that are privileged, is another matter entirely, without removing that right for Senator Natasha to fight it. And indeed, there's an opportunity for also Senator Natasha to be the vanguard, the Amazon, that will be able to bring down an establishment where these things are happening.
And she expressed reservations that her colleagues, the few other women in the National Assembly, were reluctant to rise to her defense. And it's becoming a trend. Women don't really want to protect their peers.
Well, let me say this. Let us go back and dimension the demography of the Senate for a bit. Objectively. Senator Ireki Kingbe and the other lady senators, and even former Senator Olujimi has spoken. Is it possible for those women to be cheerleaders of a sexual harasser? I know Senator Ireti is a respectable person. She does not belong to the PDP, but she belongs to the opposition. In fact, Party. You know that what she has suffered under Senator Akpabio himself. All right. So when you are dimension, you look at Senator Ireti Kingibe. Is she part of APC? No. Is she somebody that is jolly with Senator Akpabio? No. Capital N-O. And she is a highly respectable woman who is not afraid to say the truth or to stand for what it is. Nobody should come here and gloss over that for us. She's over 70 and she's facing her own. The women are marginalized. Let's all kid ourselves. We have been bulldozing them and marginalizing them. But look at the consensus of silence of the ladies in the chamber. And while I hear people say, hey, they don't want to support their own, is it so? Or is it that they know or see things we don't know? Because in fairness to life, you don't completely reach a conclusion on matters that you are not a witness to, on matters that you have not seen evidence on. Because there are three things that you use to judge even in the court of law. Witness statement, confession, one, of the person that committed it, witness statement of somebody like the victim or somebody that witnessed it, and then hardcore evidence. And that's what I was saying, that she has the opportunity to do so if truly it is true, to arrange herself properly and follow a right process to ensure she wins. Otherwise, it will die in the hollow chamber, it will become a spectacle again, and then tomorrow again, will she be able to say somebody harassed her sexually? So he who wants to go for a battle, like Sun Tzu said, should prepare for it.
And he wants to come. Equity must come
with clean hands. Thank you.